So welcome everyone to the HireAC workshop in collaboration with Co-op and the Employment Support Center. Please note that this presentation will be recorded and available after the workshop as part of the ACDA1 post-event workshops. Again, if you have questions, please use the Q&A box. There's also an opportunity for Q&A at the end of the session as well, and we'll also pause for any questions throughout the presentation. So if we're ready, we'll get started. So my name is Rebecca Sun, and I'm a co-op student advisor. I work in cooperative education, and I mainly oversee the business programs that have a co-op component. At Algonquin College, there are over 40 academic programs that offer a co-op component. Joining me today is Jessica Andrews, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Jessica, and I am an employment officer at the Employment Support Center. And so at the Employment Support Center, we support all students and graduates with their career readiness. So whether you're looking for a part-time job, full-time, summer placement, we can support you through finding and preparing for the role that aligns with your career.
Fantastic. So HireAC is the software that 3 different departments at the college use, and all 3 departments focus on career readiness and helping students to develop transferable skills for the workplace. So the first department on your left is the AC Hub, and they have a co-curricular record program that uses HireAC. And the CCR program allows you to track and record your non-academic, volunteer, and leadership experiences as a student. So this is a great way for you to identify opportunities that would have helped you develop transferable skills. Some examples of activities could be a class representative, an ACD1 volunteer, as well as an intramural captain. So throughout these positions, you would develop transferable skills like strong communication, teamwork, collaboration, and that all of those learning outcomes are outlined in the co-curricular record document. Co-op is the second department that uses HireAC. And again, we have over 40 academic programs that have a co-op component. The co-op work term is a paid job in your field of study, and the learning outcomes are tied, are a great way to complement your in-class learning. Please note that co-op is different from a field placement or program volunteer hours that are required for other programs at Algonquin. The third department is the Employment Support Center, which is where Jessica works, and they use it to post jobs for current students. Their services are also offered to alumni. So after graduation, you are more than welcome to use the Employment Support Center to help with resume review, mock interviews, as well as seeking guidance in your overall job search. They also have an events calendar that indicates upcoming workshops and networking opportunities, and we'll go through that a little bit further on in our presentation. So we're going to get a bit of audience participation with a poll. So I'm going to launch this poll, and there are 2 questions. Feel free to answer. It is anonymous, so we do not know who is participating or which answers you've chosen. So the first question is, have you used HireAC before? And the second one is, are you looking to find a part-time job, a co-op job, gain more volunteer experience, or undecided at this moment? So as you can see, the answers are coming in live. This is great. We can see where all of the participants are at this point in time, and that will help us with our presentation, and maybe we can fill in the gaps for where you're looking. So if anyone else wants to join in and add to the poll, you're more than welcome to, but I will be closing it shortly. And now you can see with our poll, the majority of the participants in today's workshop have not used HireAC. And this is great because that means you're in the right spot. We're going to help set you on the right path for success so that you learn about all 3 departments and how to use HireAC to your advantage. And most students are looking at co-op and part-time jobs, which is great because both Jessica and I can speak to those very well. Some are undecided at this moment, and that's okay. That's why we're here, to learn more about HireAC. There's some people that want to learn more about volunteering, which is great. Volunteering at the college and beyond is a great way to complement your current skill set and also to build up references for future employment.
Okay, so first we're going to just highlight a few of the benefits of using HireAC. So first and foremost, it is the platform you can use to find opportunities that are exclusive to Algonquin students and graduates. And so that means that the employers that are posting on this job board specifically want to hire you guys. So it's a great place to start looking for opportunities. And on this platform, you can access full-time, part-time, summer, co-op, and co-curricular opportunities. So all in one place, you can access all of these different things. There are some other great benefits of using it, including the ability to set up job alerts. So if you want to look up opportunities related to your program or related to certain companies, you can make it that you receive emails every time a position comes up in that area. But really, it's just a great way to start building up your experience on your resume and improving or enhancing your skill set so that whenever you are finished your program, you're going to have so much to offer to an employer and will make you more, it'll make your application stand out more, essentially. So like I mentioned earlier, you can access different types of jobs and opportunities. And like Rebecca mentioned earlier, you can also find out about exclusive career readiness workshops or different types of events that are available. And the reason this is so important to build up your experience with all these different opportunities is that it allows you to develop your employability or your soft skills so that an employer will see those things and it'll make you stand out in an application. Because typically employers, yes, they're looking for those technical skills that you gain in your program, but a lot of employers really want applicants who are well-rounded, and who are engaged in lots of different areas outside of school. So we're going to actually get started using HireAC, and we'd love if you guys could follow along with us and maybe try it out yourselves. So if everybody could bring up their internet browser and follow along. And this is the site that you would go to first. So if you go to hireac.algonquincollege.com, and then if you click on the little button that says students and student login, that's going to redirect you to your Access or your ACES login page. So maybe, do we have a thumbs up button on here?
That's what I'm looking for right now. I don't see it on here. But that's okay. We'll take a pause so that everyone can get set up and launch their browsers. Again, the website is hireac.algonquincollege.com, and then you're going to the student login page. So just in the image here, you're going to see on the top right, there's a little tab for students, and if you click on the arrow, there's a drop-down menu for the login. Carrie, did you have a question? I've unmuted you, Carrie. So you can turn your mic on. And
No, I thought you wanted us to indicate when we were in, sorry.
Okay, no, that's all right. So I'm gonna move on to the next step.
So once you click on the student login, it's going to redirect you to ACES. So you should see the number one, the screen titled number one pop up, where it's going to ask you for your student number and your password. And then you're going to click login. And once you do get into your ACES account, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page. And on the left-hand side, there's going to be an option that says HireAC. So number 4, the picture number 4. So maybe we'll just give you guys a few moments to get there.
And just a bit of extra information as well. If you ever get logged out or you forget your password, you can always contact the registrar's office to get it reset.
So once you click the HireAC button, it should redirect you to the platform. And if you are having trouble logging in, sometimes an error will pop up saying you don't have access. And typically what that means is that you have to update your address on ACES. And so if you are an international student and you haven't updated your address yet with Algonquin College, you need to make sure that it is your current Canadian address. So there'll be 2 address options, your home address and the local address. So put your Ottawa address into the local address, and then you should be able to access HireAC after that. Has anybody had any issues so far getting in? Any questions?
If you do have questions throughout the presentation, oh, what happened there? Are you guys able to see the PowerPoint?
Not yet, no.
It just closed on me, 1 second. I'm going to share my screen again. There we go. Jess, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So now that everyone is logged in, we're going to go through a guided access for all 3 departments and show you some of the highlights and things that you can do in HireAC. So again, feel free to follow along as we're going to guide you through the different departments. So on the left-hand side menu when you enter, it's going to be highlighted in green, and you're going to see the link for career and employment. So that would be for part-time summer jobs from Employment Support Center. You have the tab for co-op. Please note that if you do click on co-op, it's only accessible to students who have been approved and accepted into a co-op stream. Not every student will have this option in HireAC, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we move forward. Co-curricular record is open to all students, and this is where you would find the volunteering record. And again, you can access career and employment as well as co-curricular upon graduation as alumni as well. So let's click on co-op first. As mentioned, not everyone will have access to this tab. Co-op jobs will only be made available to co-op students once they have successfully completed the co-op prep term activities. And again, you would have to be accepted into a co-op program in order to have access to this. So for those students who indicated that they're interested in co-op, hopefully you have access to this, or you will in the future as you move through the co-op process. To search for job postings related to co-op, you're going to see, again, in the green menu here, co-op is highlighted and then job postings just underneath. And for co-op postings, you can search all available postings highlighted in red here on the top circle, or you can narrow it to just your program. So if you're a Bachelor's of Commerce, you just want to look at the jobs that are available to your program, you would click on For My Program, the bottom red circle. Or if you're curious to know how many job postings there are and what companies are currently posting with Algonquin College, you can view all job postings.
There's a few questions in the chat box.
Yeah, sure.
So Daniel says he's having issues opening HireAC. The website says page not found, and he's completed out his profile.
Okay, so sometimes that can happen depending on your student status. So whether you're full-time, part-time, or a CE student, maybe send us an email and we can look into your profile a little bit further. But for now, just follow along as we go through the different tabs.
And then Ali said, I can't find career and employment.
Okay, so if you can't find career and employment, I'll move back a few slides. So once you log in, you should be able to see it as part of the tab on the left. So once you're in HireAC, you'll be able to see the options and the different departments that use HireAC on the left-hand side in the green menu. So career and employment is at the very top. But again, we'll go through the guided access together. And then for co-op as well, when you're ready to start applying for jobs, you'll want to upload relevant documents. So just underneath co-op, you're going to see the documents tab highlighted in gray here. And you can upload a cover letter and resume. You can upload more than one of each document, as we encourage you to tailor your cover letter and resume to each job posting that you are applying to. You're also going to notice there's an application package option as well. So only specific programs will require like an assessment portfolio. So programs like Bachelor's of Interior Design or the IMD program will have something like that. Other programs like architecture, social media, construction engineering will not have things like that. So again, we will go through this once you are in the co-op program and you start your prep term. We go through it in detail with the orientation workshop and other workshops as well. Just to note as well, co-op offers events and workshops just like employment. So at the very bottom of the menu under co-op, you're going to see events and workshops. And that is in a calendar style. So today's workshop would be there. You would have networking opportunities as well as employer sessions if they wanted to book and present and recruit from the college as well. So it's definitely worth your while to check that quite often if you are in co-op. It's a great way to network and learn about different industries as well as upcoming hiring opportunities. I'm just going to check the chat box again. So Pia, if you're in the co-op, it says no admission found. It means either you're not in a co-op program at this time or you have restricted access because you have not started your co-op prep term. We're going to move on to the co-curricular record. So again, on the left-hand side green menu under co-op, you're going to see the co-curricular record. And again, this is a document that is live, so you can always update it as a student and continually add different opportunities. The co-curricular record is a great way for you to highlight your transferable skills and the different types of activities that you have participated at the college. So again, opportunities like a class representative, an open house volunteer, are just some of the examples of recognized activities on the co-curricular record. It is very similar to an academic transcript, and it outlines your activity, the date that you participated, as well as different learning outcomes. So it's great when you are speaking to your skill sets in an interview, or maybe you want to attach it to your portfolio. We'll take a look at what the document could look like. So this is a sample document of John Smith. It's a fictitious student with a fake student number. So we're not breaching any privacy laws here, but you can see that it is an official record signed by the president of the college, as well as the current president of the Students Association. It is unique to every student, and it is customizable. So if you have, let's say, 10 activities that are recognized on the document, but you only want to highlight 3 for a job application, you can select the 3 opportunities and the system will generate a new co-curricular record. And again, it is verified, so these are activities and opportunities that are recognized by the college and vetted by the college. And that's just one less step for employers who have to verify your information. And as you can see on the left-hand side, there are different categories for the types of activities that a student may participate in, but you'll have the academic year of when it happened, as well as the date and activity name, a brief description of the activity, and then some learning outcomes. And the learning outcomes are really important to understand and be able to speak to, because in an interview setting, you may be asked about a time when you had to problem solve, or if you had to collaborate with team members or classmates. And sometimes you can struggle. You might not remember an opportunity that speaks clearly to that question, but you can always lean on your co-curricular record and say, well, actually, I volunteered at a community project, and here are some of the skills that I learned. Or you can start pulling activities as examples to answer those questions. Just going to take a look at the questions that came in. So Marcelo, yes, it will be posted. It's part of the AC Day 1 post-event workshops. So on the orientation page, you will see the workshop description. Where exactly it will be posted, I'm not sure, but it should be on the orientation page. This is a great question. So how do you build your experience post-graduation? Office admin. So office admin, there is a co-op stream, but we can talk about co-op options at a different time. But I would say to build up your experience, I would start sooner than later. Even if it's volunteering at open house or maybe AC Day 1 program orientation, those types of activities will build up your references as well as your experience. And you can always add that to a resume. Post-graduation, Jessica's team in the Employment Support Center are here to support you. Jess, did you want to talk about the different services that are offered post-graduation?
Yes, our full suite of services is available. So resume, cover letter, job search, LinkedIn profiles, mock interviews, all of those things are available to you after you graduate. But like Rebecca said, it's good to start early, start volunteering early, start looking for different opportunities to build up your resume and your skill set so that by the time you graduate, you're going to have this wonderful application to any opportunity that comes up.
Mm-hmm. And don't underestimate the opportunities that you take or the part-time jobs that you take. I know lots of students work at McDonald's or Walmart, and they build up a lot of customer service, problem-solving skills. So it's always a good idea to look at getting involved as much as possible and as soon as possible. If volunteering or maybe opportunities at the college are not available to you at this time, think about how you can get engaged with your community. So that could be volunteering at the food bank, or maybe reaching out to different organizations that are close to where you live and seeing if they need any assistance. So we're going to jump into the career and employment portal. So I believe this one is accessible to all students here at the college as well as alumni. And I'm sure that you will be using this one quite frequently as well. So again, on the left-hand side menu in green, you're going to click on career and employment and then job postings to take a look at what's available. Feel free to follow along as we go through this. And let us know your thoughts. If you have any questions, again, just use the Q&A tab to submit those. I'm going to show you 3 different ways to job search in this portal. The first one here, as you can see, once you log in, you're going to see the job postings dashboard. And if you just want to see what's available, you can view all postings, highlighted in red, and that will give you a list of everything that is posted currently and available to students. The second way to view is for specific job searches through the advanced job search function on the main page. This way you can filter by organization or position type, job title, or employment category and keywords. So for example, this would be different than viewing all jobs available if you're looking specifically for customer service or maybe a recreation job. Those are different things that you could potentially put into the keyword search, and the system would automatically filter out those jobs that do not apply or fit that screening option. And the third way is if you're looking for a very specific job or you know the job ID. So I would say for this feature, it's when you're ready to apply for the job. You've already looked at it in HireAC, you've created your resume, and now you just want to go directly to that job. This feature is great if you are prepared to apply for a specific job and just want to find it in the database quickly. So again, these are some terms that you'll probably need to become familiar with. So job ID is the reference number for the job posting, and that's something that we refer to quite often, both in Co-op and in the Employment Support Center. And again, just to highlight, it's a 5-digit job ID number.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the actual application process using HireAC to apply for opportunities. And again, just to make this a little more guided, if everybody's had an opportunity now to look at the different tabs and different sections, if you want to find a position that you are interested in applying for, maybe we'll ask that you guys share it in the chat box, and then we can go through the actual application procedure for the job that you're looking to apply to. So give you guys a couple of minutes, like look through HireAC, try to find an opportunity, whether it's part-time or if you're in the co-op stream and you currently have access to co-op, a co-op job, and just plug it into the chat box. We're interested to see what kind of jobs you want to apply for. And then while you guys are doing that, oh yeah, Rebecca, go ahead and answer the Q&A.
So just a question from Mona. Your co-op work term starts in spring, summer. I'm going to assume 2021. So usually your prep term and when you start getting onboarded for co-op, it usually is 2 semesters before your very first work term. In terms of job search, that depends on your progression, but it depends on your program. But I'm going to assume if you are in the prep term right now, it'll be in the winter semester that you start job searching. So it's usually right before you start your work term.
Another question, Do you guys make a workshop for resumes? We hold a number of, at the Employment Center, we do hold a number of workshops throughout the year. Currently, we don't have one booked out right now. But if you do need assistance with your resume, you can always book an appointment with us. We do virtual appointments now, one-on-one, and we'd be happy to look over your resume. And Rebecca, if you want to speak to co-op.
Yeah, so once you're onboarded with co-op, we have different workshops available. So as part of the prep term, we will go through orientation as well as how to write a proper co-op resume and cover letter as well. And again, for the participants, if you're in HireAC in the Careers and Employment tab, feel free to job search, view all jobs, and then just type in a few job titles that you see that may be of interest to you in the chat box.
So I'm looking right now in HireAC at the jobs available, and I'm looking at an HR admin assistant, recreation programmer, dental assistant. So there's so many opportunities right now that are available of employers that are currently looking to hire. So hopefully you guys have found some kind of position that you could potentially apply to. So once you do see a position, to find out more information about how to apply for it, you have to scroll down to the bottom past the description of the job. And there's an actual section called application information. And in this section, first you're going to notice that there is a part that says the documents required. So employers will tell you what kind of documents to include in your application. So they might want just a resume, or they might want a cover letter and a resume. Some of them want a portfolio. Sometimes they might want a transcript. But you'd want to make sure that you're including the documents that they have asked for in the job posting. In that same section, you can also see the application method. So some employers want you to apply to the position right within HireAC, but others might provide a website or a link to the actual job posting on their site, or they might ask you to apply by email. So you always want to make sure that you're using the appropriate application method so that they actually receive your application. And then there's also a really useful section. If you keep scrolling down to the company info section, you'll actually see the name usually of the hiring manager, so the person who's hiring for the position, and that includes his or her contact name. So usually if you're going to be handing in a cover letter, it's great to address it to the right person. So you have the contact name usually within the HireAC posting, so you can address your cover letter to this person. So somebody did ask about resumes earlier. I'm not going to get too much detail about specific application, what they look like, what resumes and cover letters should look like. But these are some overall fundamentals to help your application stand out more. And so the first one is actually to tailor your resume and your cover letter to every position that you apply to. So you don't want to have one general resume and cover letter for all positions. Typically, you want to make sure that you're pulling out those keywords, the industry language from each job posting, and applying them into your resume and your cover letter. And this can be both technical skills and your transferable or soft skills. So program skills, and then those things that you've gained from your experience, from part-time jobs, from volunteer experience, from community involvement. Employers love to see both of these things highlighted on your application. It's also really helpful to highlight accomplishments. So instead of listing your responsibilities that you've had in the past, try to focus on things that you've accomplished or where you've demonstrated value. Those are the kinds of details that employers are looking for. And then finally, do a bit of research. So usually in the application, or sorry, in the job posting, it will give you a link to see the employer's website. So go check out their website, check out the details about their company, and find something that really interests you about the company or resonates with you, and highlight this in your application. Employers really appreciate applicants that tailor their application to their company and really demonstrates how they fit into the position they're applying for, or how they'll fit into the company's team. So like Rebecca mentioned earlier, HireAC also offers an events calendar or workshop calendar, and you can access it for both co-op and employment. And so you have to make sure you're in the correct tab. So for career and employment, if you're looking for opportunities that are outside of co-op, you would go to our events and workshops tab, where you can find opportunities like job fairs, employer sessions, networking events, career readiness workshops, and all of these are being hosted virtually because of the pandemic that we're in. But you can access these at any time. And then same with co-op, you would just make sure you're in the correct tab and then click on the co-op's events and workshops tab.
And just to add a quick note, because everything is virtual, there will be a registration process. I know that a number of our workshops and events do sell out, so make sure that you check the calendars frequently and register in a timely manner. We have had lots of students send us messages and just to say that the events are sold out.
There's a question in the chat box from Ali. So they want to know why a message has popped up saying that they cannot access job postings because it doesn't exist or they don't have permission. I'm not sure if that's a co-op message or not.
I think it might be a careers. So it could be if the local address is not updated, you won't have access to go through in HireAC. There could be other technical issues as well, but
yeah. I've also seen this happen to students before, where they're trying to access a position that just recently expired. So you can't access anymore, but it's still showing up in your home feed. So that might be the issue. But again, if you want to connect with us afterwards, if this is happening a lot to you, please let us know and we'll try to help you fix it. So in terms of next steps, this is a great time for you to start playing around with HireAC. So trying out the different tabs, learning about the different language and the different sections that you need to consider when you're applying to a position. Check out the CCR tab, the co-op tab, the Employment Support Center tab. And then if you do need any further assistance, if you're having issues with HireAC, or if you would like assistance with resumes, with making a mock interview, please reach out to me or my team at the Employment Support Center, and we're happy to help you. And just consider what's the next thing that you can do now to start building up your experience while you're at Algonquin College.
So now we're going to turn the tables, and if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. We can unmute you so that you can speak live, or if you'd like, you can type into the chat box and we can answer your question in the webinar as well. So we have a question in the chat. Are the recruiting networking events mostly suitable for full-time jobs only?
No. Usually the employer will say what kind of positions they're hiring for, but a lot of them are hiring for multiple things: part-time, full-time, co-op opportunities. So it's a really big mix.
So Ali, that's a great question. That is going to be on our next slide. So we're going to leave our contact information. It will go to the general inbox for all 3 departments, and that's how you will connect with us. make sure in your email you put your full name, student number, and outline your question in detail.
Just seeing the question in the chat box. It's a co-op question from Lakshika. So she's looking for a co-op position in admin within the winter term, and she's interested in government, and she noticed that they do ask for citizenship.
So depending on the job posting, there will be specific requirements. It could be a security clearance, or the employer may have to look at specific groups first, just based on their policies. But the lucky thing is you are my student, so feel free to message me, send an email to me or to the general co-op inbox, and then I can look at your file in greater detail and help guide you through the co-op process as well.
Another question, who can help us with our resume and cover letter? If it's for co-op, it's going to be Rebecca or somebody else on our team. And if it's just general employment, then it's going to be me or anybody else on my team at the Employment Support Center.
These are all great questions. If you end up thinking about something else later on today or later on this week, feel free to send us a message. I'm going to put the contact information for all 3 departments. So Co-curricular is with the AC Hub and the Volunteer Center. If you're on campus, you can walk by it. It's E203. Everyone is working remotely though, so you cannot go into the offices at this time. And again, cooperative education, we're in the C building on the 2nd floor, and employment is in E building on the 3rd floor, just above Starbucks. So Jessica and I will hang around for a couple of more minutes if anyone wants to stay behind and ask more questions. But if there are no more questions, we just want to say thank you so much for attending, and we hope that you found this workshop helpful. As Jessica had mentioned, it's a great time for you to start playing around with HireAC and seeing the different options that you have to get involved and to start building up your resume and experience. Feel free to send us a message if you have questions later on this week. So Edith, I'm going to answer your question live. You have a question regarding co-op and the project management certificate. If you email the general co-op inbox, they will be able to direct you to your co-op student advisor. And they will be able to help address that question as well.
So Myron asked in the chat box, will this recording be available afterwards? Absolutely. We're not sure exactly where it will be housed, but it will be in the post-orientation website. And there will be a link there.
So it looks like the questions are kind of slowing down now, and our numbers are dropping as individuals are returning to classes and going on with their day. So if everyone is good, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I will end the meeting for everyone. But again, Jessica and I really wanted to thank you for joining us today and learning more about HireAC and the different departments that use the database. Bye everyone.